Are you ready to tackle your next real estate adventure? Whether you're hunting for your first home or diving into big league land acquisitions, Array Real Estate is in your corner. At Array Real Estate, they are not just a real estate team, they are your agents for life. Array Real Estate's mission? To help you crush your real estate goals one deal at a time. Array Real Estate's roots run deep in the heart of the Pacific Northwest as proud alumni of the University of Idaho. With offices in Coeur d'Alene and Seattle, the team is here to give you a legendary real estate experience. Your success isn't just a goal, it's their top priority. Everything from cozy homes to land development to commercial spaces, Array Real Estate has you covered. They are all about making your real estate dreams come true with a dash of Vandal pride. Ready to make a move? Visit ArrayRealEstate.com and join the fun on Instagram at ArrayRE. Let Array Real Estate turn your dreams into wins. Array Real Estate, your go-to team for all things real estate and proud sponsors of Vandals Weekly. Array Real Estate will make real estate magic with you. Vandals Weekly back for another week, and we're checking in now with one of the rising stars on the Idaho Vandals. Marquawn McCraney joining us. He's a redshirt freshman receiver. Had a big day this last time out. Marquawn, thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's good to be here.
Man. First of all, tell us about just being on the field for the first time. I know you've gotten some run here early on here, but last year you redshirted, so then just sort of breaking in and sort of working your way up and getting an opportunity. What has that taken, and what's it been like for you to get on the field and have big performances at the Division I level?
I mean, yeah, it's super special for one to be able to play at this level, and to be able to help your team and do whatever it takes to try to get your team a win. And it was especially special for me because I was coming off an injury in spring. I tore my meniscus, so I was like the first half of the season I had missed with a couple of games because of the injury. But to be able to come back and then be able to make an impact right away is kind of special, and I hope I can continue to do that for the team.
Well, last week, a big game, 7 catches, 105 yards, and a touchdown. So what did you see against Eastern Washington that allowed you to have so much success?
I mean, going into the week, we've seen that there are a lot of, man-on-man, and then a lot of it'd be a lot of one-on-one situations. And so going into the week, our kind of mindset for our receivers on the outside was your one-on-one matchups. And for that touchdown, we seen a matchup that we liked, and then the quarterback put a ball out there, gave me a chance. It was a really good throw. If you've seen the clip, it was a really good throw. The quarterback had a lot of faith in me to go make that play. Something we had been working on all week, so kind of executed the game plan.
I know you guys have had a little bit of turnover at quarterback lately. So what's it been like just working in with different guys in the week of preparation?
I mean, it's honestly it's an eye-opening experience. Getting to see all those guys that you're sitting there spending all that time with, get to see them rotate in. A couple of those guys we had played for us last year, so it was kind of nice to see them getting back in that rotation, getting them comfortable with being on that field again. And then Rocco, who had a pretty good game for us a couple weeks ago, getting to get in there and be a little bit more of a main quarterback instead of just a runner. It was good to see that too. So I mean, honestly, I'm not upset at it. I like seeing all our guys out there. I trust that all our guys can go out there and get the job done.
Yeah, it's kind of rare to have so many guys that have played in games, because I know last year Idaho had some quarterback injuries as well. So, I remember I saw Joseph live. I saw Wagner in the playoffs. So, and Rocco Cook has played in games too. So it seems, I mean, you guys actually have a lot of guys on your roster that have played in games.
Yeah, we do.
Last year, what was it like for you redshirting? What were some of the things that stood out to you? What did you learn?
I feel like with the redshirt experience, honestly, like you get that extra year to really develop. Like coming in from high school, like where virtually you're the guy, like everybody that's coming into a D1 program, they're probably like one of the star players at their school. Just going from that to kind of seeing like, okay, this is a whole new level where everybody was that good, and knowing that you need to develop and you need to work on your craft and stuff like that. And I feel like the biggest thing for me was I had a lot of older guys on the defense last year that were telling me like, these are the things that I'm seeing as a DB that I think you need to work on, and just hearing them and then learning from that as well. So the older guys were a really big help in that development year for sure.
Going through a redshirt year and then having a change in coaching staff, was that hard, or what was it like for you, and what kept you there at Idaho?
Well, my recruitment process, Coach Ford, our head coach now, was the one that actually recruited me coming into Idaho, and then when he left, the person that replaced him was my high school head coach. So it was kind of cool to get to move up to the next level with him. And then when the staff left, Coach Ford came back in. It was kind of like a perfect fit because Coach Ford would have recruited me here, and it was nice he's a guy from the same hometown as me. So it was nice to have him in here. He brought in a couple of guys from the hometown as well. And honestly, I feel like with bringing in that new staff, the new staff like brought a lot of energy when they first got in. So like it was like a warm. It wasn't just like a staff switch. It felt like a warm welcome for the people that had already been there, for the new people that were coming in. It was really good to see the staff like really be that high level of energy when they first came in, and it actually I feel like it helped the team get started off.
What's interesting because it seems like almost every week I've talked to guys that are from the Seattle Tacoma area because you guys have so many guys on the squad from there because T Ford recruits there so much. So just being from there, how much pride do you take in that, and what do you think of just sort of representing where you come from?
I mean, for me, I feel like it's a little bit different. I feel like something that I don't know if you've heard this, but a lot of times you hear that, football players from Seattle or in that Washington area, they're not as good as like kids that come from Texas or Cali or Florida, or whatever. And so like to be able to be here at this level and be able to represent my hometown and be able to show that Washington boys can play ball too, I feel like it's an honor, honestly. And just hoping that I can continue to showcase that, us Washington boys on the map, and not even just for me and the people that are in college right now, but for all the younger guys that are going to come through from high school in Washington, just to show that you guys can continue to go to the next level and keep working and keep being great.
Yeah, it's been fun. I used to live in Washington and I worked out in the Seattle area, and you're right, it's like an underrated area, but you see that though with all the programs that have become good with the guys from where you're from, right? Like Idaho's got a ton of guys like that. Eastern Washington does too. Washington and Washington State obviously do too. So it is.
Yeah.
There's good football out there, and I think the fact that it is under recruited actually probably gives the Northwestern schools such a chance to keep being good, right?
Yeah.
How about just the state of the team right now? I know you guys are struggling a little bit with the losing streak, but what have you liked about the way you performed the last couple of weeks, and what do you think is the biggest factor to sort of turn in the corner?
I feel like what our biggest thing with our team is like we're going in every day and we're learning from our mistakes, right? So even when we look back on our last one we took, like we knew there was some stuff we needed to learn from there. And so every week we come in with the mindset that it doesn't matter. You got to get better. No matter how good you did, no matter what your performance was, like there's always something that you can get better at. And so I feel like that's been our main focus. Doesn't matter, get better. And then, guys have been coming in with high levels of energy at practice. Like yesterday, I feel like we had a really high energy practice, and that allowed us to have a good day throughout the entire day because guys are coming in with energy, wanting to be there, wanting to get back after it, wanting to get back in that win column. So I feel like the biggest thing for us is just to continue to show up with that energy, continue to trust in your guys, lean on your guys, and have each other's back. And that's the only way we're gonna get out of this thing together. So just staying together as a team.
Well, being back home this week certainly probably helps you as well. Portland State coming to town to play in Moscow. So what's your favorite part about playing the Kibby Dome?
The fans, honestly, when the fans come and pack it out, honestly, it's the echo in the dome is great. So when they're there and they're loud and especially when we're on defense, it's definitely a big help for our defense to get in stops and stuff like that. I feel like the fans they make the dome, right? Like we practice in the dome all day, and it's that you could tell the difference between a practice and a game day because the fans are there, they're loud, the energy in the dome, definitely the fans.
Well, any early thoughts on Portland State? I know you guys have probably just kind of sort of dived into the prep, but what have you seen out of the Vikings so far, and what do you expect for this matchup on Saturday?
Nothing too crazy in terms of game plan. Just go in there, the same mindset, execute my 111th. Go out there, whatever game plan that we got written down, whatever we have drawn up on the offense. Go out there, execute the plays. If I need a pass block or like if I need a run block or anything like that, run block. Go out there. If I need to catch, I need to catch the ball. I'll go do that, and then just trusting our defense to go out there and get stops like they've been doing the last couple of weeks.
Last thing, then, anything that you guys hope to improve on offensively this week that you're really going to be leaning into and concentrating on?
I feel like just getting really good at the stuff that we're running, right? I feel like that's our main focus right now. Like the things that we're gonna run, we're gonna be perfect at it. We're gonna do it till we can't get it wrong. And so I feel like that's our main focus right now. Just making sure that whatever we have going on, we're gonna execute that to the highest level, the highest ability that we can. And I feel like that's gonna be a big help for us.
Marquawn McCraney here on Vandals Weekly. Thanks for doing it, man. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely. You have a good one. Nice to meet you too.
Marry me in your future, or maybe you do it all over again. Hi, I'm Brian Toon with Jewelry Design Center, inviting you to come see the largest selection of Will You Marry Me in the state of Montana. The brightest diamonds of every shape and size, unique settings built to last, and skilled jewelers on site offering free sizing and maintenance for life, because that's how long we want to be your jeweler. Jewelry Design Center in Missoula, on Brooks, across from the Montana Club.
Are you ready to tackle your next real estate adventure? Whether you're hunting for your first home or diving into big league land acquisitions, Array Real Estate is in your corner. At Array Real Estate, they are not just a real estate team, they are your agents for life. Array Real Estate's mission? To help you crush your real estate goals one deal at a time. Array Real Estate's roots run deep in the heart of the Pacific Northwest as proud alumni of the University of Idaho. With offices in Coeur d'Alene and Seattle, the team is here to give you a legendary real estate experience. Your success isn't just a goal, it's their top priority. Everything from cozy homes to land development to commercial spaces, Array Real Estate has you covered. They are all about making your real estate dreams come true with a dash of Vandal pride. Ready to make a move? Visit ArrayRealEstate.com and join the fun on Instagram at ArrayRE. Let Array Real Estate turn your dreams into wins. Array Real Estate, your go-to team for all things real estate and proud sponsors of Vandals Weekly. Array Real Estate will make real estate magic with you.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.
Town Pump. Right down the road. Pump it up. Oh, yeah.
Vandals Weekly continues. Thomas Ford Jr. joining us here on the Big Sky Breakdown podcast series. Coach, you kind of just said it right before we started recording, but you said you got a group of guys that still remain positive and hungry despite a couple losses in a row. We just got done talking to Marquawn McCraney, and that certainly came across in his interview. So how do you sort of capitalize on that? Obviously, you got to love that your guys are still in the fight. So how do you sort of capitalize on that and right the ship?
Yeah, I think we just really go back to basics. You know, our number one team goal here in this program is to improve every day. And that's what we've set our focus on. You know, don't focus on the results, focus on the process. You know, we kind of started doing a little bit more of a deep dive, and we just have a very young team. You know, obviously our expectations were very high. You know, we've taken the program to a level to where those expectations should be and can be high. But we also have to be, you know, aware of our roster and some of the guys doing a lot of these things for the very first time. And so they're very positive. Again, they're a young, hungry group. They're guys that love coming to work every day. And, you know, sometimes when you lose a bunch of games in a row, you might come to practice and it looks like doom and gloom. And it couldn't be further from the truth with our group. And so I think they're excited to get back after it. They're excited to be back at home in the Dome and, you know, to get after Portland State this weekend.
The harboring and then also dealing with expectations is such an interesting deal. And I think about this covering the FCS all the time because not all media markets are created equal, right? Like there's about 100 FCS schools that don't get any coverage. And then there's about 10 or 12 that get, you know, like big league type of coverage, Idaho included, right? So
Right.
How do you sort of balance that with your guys? Because there is, you know, there's probably just a lot more noise to deal with and just expectations out there in the world. So how do you sort of balance all of that with your team?
Yeah, we talked a lot about, you know, drowning out the noise. You know, when people have you ranked really highly, you might not be as good as you thought. And when they have you ranked really low, you're probably better than they thought. So they weren't right in either situation. And so you can't really look at those outside influences as any factors in the actual locker room, because the only guys that really know what's going on are the coaches and the players that are in those meeting rooms, that are in those locker rooms. And again, just really focusing on the process, really focusing on playing together as a team for 4 full quarters and improving week after week.
The quarterback scenario with Josh Wood down, I know you played a bunch of guys last week. So what do you like about each of those 3 guys? And also just how big of a juggling act has that been, just trying to find the right guy there under center?
Yeah, certainly not ideal when you're playing your 3rd, 4th, and 5th string guys, right? You know, Sawyer Teeney really was our backup quarterback, and he's been injured this whole time that Josh has been out as well. So that definitely hindered us in some ways, but we still believe in those other guys, and trying to balance those different qualities that they all have has definitely been difficult. But I think Coach Linehan and the offensive staff have really done a great job of trying to put together a plan to kind of accentuate some of their strengths. And we're very hopeful to have Joshua back this week, and Sawyer's back practicing this week. So having those top two guys at practice yesterday, getting reps with the team, it just looked different, right? It looked a little bit more crisp. It looked a little bit more like we were accustomed to seeing those first 5 games of the season.
When it comes to some of the young offensive skill guys you've been playing, Marquawn McCraney, breakout game last week, over 100 yards receiving, scored a touchdown. So start with him. What have you liked this about his performance? What's helped him sort of break in? Because these last couple of weeks, it seems like he's getting a lot more run.
Yeah, Marquawn, really what you're seeing with him is you're seeing a guy that's finally getting into game shape, game thought process. He was out all of fall camp. He had a knee injury that required surgery, was really out all of the summer in terms of practicing with the team, doing any 7-on-7, anything like that. Didn't do any of fall camp, really didn't start practicing until right around school start. And so he's really just honestly doing the things we knew he could do, but it took a little bit of time because of, the physical nature that he had to get ready for. He wasn't used to playing 50, 60 snaps a game after playing 0 snaps all the fall camp. So watching him progress has been really good, but not surprised at all. I know that young man to be a very good player. He was a highly touted recruit out of high school, had 9 FBS offers, but everybody wanted to play safety. And I'll never forget that it was before his junior year. I saw him at a camp in the summer, and I was asking him how everything's going. I said, "How's that recruiting going, man?" He said, "Everybody wants me to play safety, but I really want to play receiver." And I said, "Well, I know you can play receiver at the University of Idaho."
Yeah, right.
And so again, I think you're really seeing what I saw in him as a wide receiver, a guy that has strong hands, very athletic. He's got great body control, and he's got top end speed. And so he's one of those guys that I really believe will take the Big Sky by storm the rest of this season and beyond.
Defensively, what have you liked, and also what do you want to improve on moving forward here?
I loved what we did defensively. I thought we handled Nate Bell as well as anyone has. He had one long run. He had a 54-yard run. But outside of that, we really did a great job tackling him. The other 22 carries he had were all under 12 yards, and a lot of those were tackles for loss. We had 8 tackles for loss in the game. We had an interception in the game. And so I thought defensively, we did a lot of things that, probably in most games, if we do a little bit better offensively, would allow you to win. But obviously we didn't get it done on the offensive end. But defensively, really saw a lot of improvement, especially with our tackling, staying on top of deep routes, and then getting pressure to the quarterback.
When it comes to just balancing a young roster within the veterans you do have, what's the meshing process like? And as you've given more young guys more opportunities and you see these guys sort of coming on, how do you sort of balance that within the scope of the locker room?
Yeah, I think our veteran players, they kind of know we're always going to play the best guys. And even some of our veteran guys are really in this year, really in the first time where they're full-time starters. We looked at we did a kind of a roster overhaul, just looking at the snaps, and on both sides of the football, we only have 4 players on each side of the football that have more than 1,000 snaps. And, that's counting this season. And, I think 3 of them are offensive linemen. And so again, we're definitely a young team, and even the veteran guys are, again, doing this for the first time. So I think a lot of those guys have done a really good job of leading, showing these younger players what our culture has been in the past and what's helped us get to the success that we've had. And I think those guys have handled everything really well. And a lot of those guys are, again, they're playing some very key roles and doing some really good things as well. So I think those guys are doing a great job leading and continuing to show the guys what the process really looks like.
Portland State, a team obviously that's hungry as ever as well. So what have you seen out of the Vikings so far as they make their way to Moscow this weekend?
Well, they got some big fellas in their interior D-line. They've got a defensive end, number 56, that really gets after the passer on their defensive end. I think their D-line is probably their strength. On offense, they've played a couple of different quarterbacks, so you've got to be able to be ready for the different, tendencies that they have with whatever player is in the game. And so they definitely provide some challenges that way. You've got to do a great job against their empty packages, because they've got a pretty extensive empty package that they throw and run out of. And so definitely a group that, again, is hungry. They're going to come in searching for their first win, and we just got to make sure that we're ready for that challenge.
That element is so interesting to me because, covering Coach Barnum all these years, he always has new wrinkles. Like he's not scared to run them, and he'll show you a package you've never seen before, and it seems like he does that like 10 or 12 weeks out of the year. So how much high alert do you have to be on? And also, what do you think of just being in a chess match with some of these coaches in the Big Sky that do some stuff that's maybe outside the box?
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Barney, he's done it for a long time, and he's done it at a high level. And like you mentioned, he's going to have a wrinkle that we've never seen. He may come out there with 4 tight ends in the game, right? And so we've just got to do a great job with adjustments. And that's where my coaching staff needs to continue to improve, is just when teams do things that we weren't expecting, making adjustments that not only help stop what they're doing, but really help our players play fast, because you can't adjust and do stuff that is just out of the scope of our schemes. And so I think our coaches are continuing to do a better job of that. And I think you really saw that defensively. And I hope to take another step on the offensive side with our adjustments as well.
Coach, appreciate the time this week as always, and good luck on Saturday.
Thanks, Colter.